Even as technology becomes more affordable and internet access seems increasingly ubiquitous, a digital divide between rich and poor, urban and rural remains, especially on a global scale. The rich and educated are still more likely than others to have better and easier access to digital resources. The digital divide has especially far-reaching consequences when it comes to education. For children in many low-income and rural school districts, inadequate access to technology can hinder them from learning the tech skills that are crucial to success in today's economy. According to the 2012 Pew report, Digital Differences, only 62% of people in households making less than $30,000 a year use the internet, while for those making $50,000 to $75,000 a year, that percentage jumped to 90%. As more and more states implement technology-rich programs in school, children in poorer areas struggle to keep pace. According to a recent Pew Research report, just over 50% of these households have internet access. Even if students can access the internet and complete assignments at school or in libraries, a lack of access at home is a critical piece of the learning puzzle because so many resources have gone digital. College and financial aid applications, resume tools, government services, and, of course, social networks are just some of the offerings available to internet users. Yet, if students are cut off from these tools early on in education, their chances of staying offline remain high. Arguably, the internet is not needed to live a productive and fulfilling life. But, for students who want to benefit from its resources but do not have access at home, this inequality looks to have long-term effects as well. Several high-profile tech companies have launched global initiatives to increase access to technology for children and young people in the world's poorest countries, pouring millions of computers and educational materials into ICT training programs. Computer giant Dell runs its own computer hardware and literacy program called Youth Learning, which initially launched in India and is now operating in 15 countries across the world. Tech giant Hewlett-Packard launched an initiative named the Digital Village Project, aimed to help lessen the digital divide in lower-income communities in the United States. Investing $15 million, HP partnered with low-income communities to allow them to create their own technology. In one instance, groups in California and in Baltimore distributed laptops and computers to teachers and students. From a corporate perspective, the reasons are simple. These programs provide excellent PR for the companies, and most importantly, they open markets to new consumers for their products.
According to a study by Deloitte, increasing internet penetration to European levels would be worth $450 per person in GDP to Africa, as well as 44 million extra jobs. And according to the same study, it could save 1 million lives, including 130,000 children. But it also, coincidentally, makes good business sense for the tech companies.
Well, ultimately, both companies make money from internet usage, whether that's social media usage or search and advertising or video advertising. So they're both very interested in building the scale of internet users in the future, so they can basically sell advertising and generate revenues from the consumers in these markets who are currently untapped.
Whatever their motivations, in today's technologically driven world, resources and initiatives like these are positive examples of what private enterprise is doing in order to help close the gap between those that are technologically literate and those who have been left behind. As previously seen, the digital divide not only affects underdeveloped countries, but also affects more developed countries in North America and in Europe. What are the government's plans to correct this divide? The Federal Communications Commission has tried to close this divide from as far back as 1997 by providing schools and libraries with computers. However, this plan did not predict another divide, between the most rural areas being unable to obtain high-speed connections, causing rural libraries and schools to be at a disadvantage to the urban digital educational system. This also reveals that homes that are located in rural communities either cannot obtain broadband connections or the price in receiving broadband would be unfeasible for many of those households. However, these differences do not stop at internet speed. They can also be seen in public availability of technology, such as libraries being able to integrate newer technology into their buildings. Maker spaces are areas that often contain 3D printers, software, electronics, craft, hardware supplies, and more. These areas promote broad creative thinking, providing opportunities to individuals to be able to create objects ranging from jewelry and tools to functional flying drones. This issue of availability creates another divide by differentiating between communities who have access to this technology versus those who don't. These divides may be shortened in years to come, with programs such as the Obama administration's Connect Home initiative, which will provide broadband connections to areas that did not have it before.
Today, we're going to take another step to close the digital divide in America and make sure everybody in America has access to high-speed broadband internet. We're taking some initiatives today to make that happen. Now, I don't really have to tell you why this is important. Even old folks like me know it's important. In this digital age, when you can apply for a job, take a course, pay your bills, order pizza, even find a date by tapping your phone, the internet is not a luxury, it's a necessity. You cannot connect with today's economy without having access to the internet.
This program is currently in a trial run with 28 communities taking part in this test. There are also programs to provide makerspace areas to libraries that are in need of them through a partnership between corporations donating technology and governmental funds that are being provided for this project. The government hopes that these programs will provide a digital parity and opportunity for people that reside in rural areas, comparable to that currently found in urban areas. Going forward, as many technologies become affordable, they are helping to bring the internet to more of the world's population. Smartphones have helped bridge the digital divide as they provide internet access to populations previously at a digital disadvantage. Pew reports show that in the United States, young adults, minorities, those with no college experience, and those with lower household income levels are more likely to access the internet primarily through their smartphones. Smartphones are also providing service in areas like Africa, parts of South America, and Eastern Europe. Although many of these areas currently lack internet service, providers and companies like Google and Alphabet are trying to open up these markets by developing airborne internet networks. Although keeping up with technology is still a challenge for many people, it is that same developing technology which we will look to eventually provide access to education and knowledge for everyone, regardless of class or location.
Be